Hello and welcome back, everyone, to our 9-month Ultimate World Cruise Adventure. And today we continue our wonderful journey through the Philippines, and we go to Subic Bay and we soak in volcanic hot tubs.
Welcome to Living Phase 2.
Hi, I'm Mike.
And I'm Nancy, and we're empty nesters striving to live life to the
And
fullest.
we're living that full life aboard Royal Caribbean's 9-month Ultimate World Cruise on Serenade of the Seas.
We sure are. Well, friends, today we are in Subic Bay in the Philippines. And when we arrived here, once again, we had a wonderful greeting by some of the locals with musicians and dancing. And it was just, it's wonderful. It's like so sweet to be greeted.
Oh, it is. And watching some of the children dance and everything. Oh, I really did enjoy that. Yeah. I really did. I wish we could have spent more time, really. Watching them before we had to get off on our tour. But speaking of our tour.
Right. Well, we have a royal tour today that they're taking us to the volcanic area where we're getting in hot springs and hot sand. But we've started out with getting on a bus, and it was about an hour and 15-minute ride to get to our destination and to see beautiful volcano in the distance and
and it was really good. So
scenery was beautiful.
Yeah, so once we got through that bit, it's pretty much just seeing the rice fields and things as we're driving on our bus. But once we got there, we transferred over to some four-wheel drive vehicles. Each vehicle held 7 people, 2 rows of 3 and 1 in the front. And they took us to kind of a staging area. So we went there. That gave us an opportunity to change clothes, put our swimsuits on, get whatever we wanted to wear in going to the hot springs. Then they put us back on those same Jeeps and those same four-wheel drive vehicles, and then we went off on an adventure.
Yeah, but we had to wear helmets the second time.
Well, they were bicycle helmets. If that Jeep rolled over, those weren't going to do anything.
Probably not.
But they did. I guess it keep you from bumping your head on the, on the roll cage that was up above you. But I thought that was funny.
It was a really beautiful 20-minute drive to our next destination as we went through the channels and the canyons, the kind of the gullies, and we're going through water but just the mountains or the canyon sides are just steep and straight up, and it was just stunning. It actually reminded me of when we were at the Wisconsin Dells.
Like Witch's Gulch there. Yeah, I thought of the same thing too, yeah.
We have a video on that, friends,
yes.
by the way. So we'll link to that below on our visit to the Dells.
Yeah, take a look back at that. That was, you're right. Okay, the Dells were really beautiful like that too. Yeah,
I thought it was stunning.
Yeah. So, we went through, and I was kind of thinking, okay, are we really getting a four-wheel drive adventure? We did. I mean,
we did, yes.
Yeah, we own our own ATVs, and I thought, oh my gosh, this place would have been great to ride some ATVs. And, well, we got to the end, really to the volcanic caldera, because it dead-ended the four-wheel drive trail into this area, and they had all these tiers of hot tubs or hot springs, and they're flowing right from the mountain, from the springs, and they flow at different levels, and of course, depending on how much the water has flowed is the temperature of each of the hot tubs.
Right. And the hot tubs, really, they were either they were either tiled or had like Pebble Tech, like a swimming pool, so that they were very clean to go into.
Yeah, the water was constantly, the spring water was flowing in and straight back out of each tub.
And then down to the next and the next and the next. And
we tried all the different hot tubs. They were there. The hottest one that was in one area, my watch has a thermometer on it, actually showed that it was over 112 degrees.
It was hot.
Yeah.
It really was.
Yeah, but the others were more moderate. They were 101, 102, kind of more like a regular hot tub. Some were a little cooler. Some had waterfalls we got into.
Even the waterfalls were quite warm as well.
Yeah, there was a natural waterfall kind of on the end where it all flowed down and just kind of went back into the river that flowed down through that gully and channel that we took the four-wheel drive vehicles to. We just spent time. We had about an hour there. That's one of the things you've probably heard us say this several times. Certainly going on a tour with a tour guide is a great way to have an introduction to something.
Sure.
If you're going to truly have adventure traveling and you're going to be in a place for days, great, go explore and find these places, find the places that we're suggesting, and then go spend 2 or 3 or 4 hours at them on your own.
Right.
We're always getting
an
the
hour's
samplers.
a little short. Yes.
Yeah, we would have liked to spend a little bit of more time there. Maybe had a drink and sat and soaked in the hot tub. But again, much of this is like the sampler platter. We're learning for places that, would we come back or not? And so, yeah, a little bit rushed, but like I said, we spent about an hour there, maybe a little more, and then we got back in the Jeeps and they took us back down this wonderful trip and down the rivers and through the gullies to another area where we got another volcanic experience, which was volcanic sand treatment.
Yes, they dug out little channels in the sand.
Called them graves.
We called them graves.
Nice, I said, yeah.
And then that you put on, they gave us a shirt and shorts to put on over our swimsuit. And then you laid down in these channels, and then they buried you back up with the volcanic sand again. It was quite warm and
very warm.
Then a lady walks on you.
Yeah, you get kind of a sand massage. Yeah.
She walks on your legs, and I was a little worried she was going to step on my knee, but she didn't. She stepped over my knee. I guess she could just kind of feel where it was at, and then she walks on your arms, and it just kind of tucks you in all nice and cozy in that volcanic sand, and someone is coming along with a fan and fanning your face. And
yeah, because it's quite warm. I thought the interesting thing was, it's really, this is another case where I can imagine really enjoying this if it was quiet and zen and all this. But
it wasn't quiet.
No, I mean, we had a lot of people on this tour. And so and again, nothing wrong with this. I mean, obviously they're all excited and they're having fun and they're doing these things.
Right.
It was just kind of loud. So you're trying to relax and close your eyes, and that was a little difficult with people getting in and out of the sand and everything. But the one thing is, if you close your eyes, you could feel your heartbeat. You're covered in this, probably 100 pounds of sand here or more, probably a couple hundred pounds of sand, and you can kind of feel that the hot and the beating of your heart and in your extremities under there. I thought it was an interesting experience.
But you could stand up at any time if you wanted to. You could just raise yourself up out of the sand.
Yeah, and there were some people on our tour that were a little claustrophobic, and they were in for a couple of minutes, and so I could overhear them like saying I had to get out of here. And again, this was it's the Philippines. It's a warm day. You're already going into hot tubs, hot water, and then you're going into hot sand. And you just want to really watch your limitations here and not overdo it. But, we got up out of the hot sand, went right next door, and we had a volcanic ash scrub.
They made it into a mud.
Right.
And they put this mud all over our face, our arms, legs, and belly. And I wouldn't say they really scrubbed us, but they just put that mud all over us so that it could dry on us.
Right. The whole idea, I think, was it's supposed to draw the toxins out of your body.
I think that's right.
Yeah, as we joked, we said, well, listen, we've been on a world cruise already for 3 months. You're going to have to draw a lot more mud to get the toxins out of us. But it was interesting. Again, a neat experience. But the funny part was, they after you laid there for probably 10 minutes 15 minutes with this mud, they're like, okay, and then you just get up and you get back in the Jeep with all this mud covered on you, so you got volcanic sand in your cracks and crevices. You're covered in mud, and then you get in a Jeep and finish up this 4-wheel drive tour, and you go back to that original place we started, that kind of staging area. And luckily there they had showers, towels, soap, everything, and then you could really wash off. But boy, I don't think anybody at that place got all the sand off of them. I mean, or the mud, but they had after we cleaned up, they had a nice buffet lunch.
They did.
Some traditional Filipino food. They had chicken adobo or pork adobo. They had chicken skewers, rice,
stir fry. Yes.
Yeah.
That was quite good.
Yeah, that was really good. And then we got back in those 4-wheel drive vehicles, and then they returned us to the bus that then took us out to the ship. Again, this was an advantage of being on a Royal Caribbean tour. We actually didn't get back to the ship until after the ship was supposed to depart. All aboard was 4:30, and we got back at like 4:30, 4:35, and And so the ship waited for our tour to get back because it was a ship scheduled tour.
Come on, hurry up.
Yeah, get on the ship. Yep. And, but they, this was one of those things in that case that we, if this was a private tour, they wouldn't have got us back late. I'm sure of that from all the private tours we've taken. But what they would have done is rush the tour more. Whereas here, I think they knew, okay, we're going to get you back right at 4:30, but this is a tour booked by Royal Caribbean. So there was a little bit more leeway and not quite so much rushing, I think.
Right. There's probably 150 of us. So
right.
Felt a little confident they wouldn't leave 150 of us. So.
Yeah. Which is one of the slight disadvantages are when you do book a excursion like this from the ship, by the ship, you are in general going to have a lot more people on a tour like this.
True.
If you remember the street food tour that we talked about in our last video, and if you haven't seen that, be sure to go back and take a look at that. And by the way, if you didn't see it, then maybe what you should do is hit like on this video and subscribe and turn on those notifications so you don't miss any of this 9-month world cruise adventure. But in our last one, we only had 9 people with us in Manila trying street food and walking around. I love those tours where you really get down and have more personal experience.
I do too.
Whereas this was fun, but as Nancy said, we were on this tour with 150 of our closest friends and, going to all the different locations. They had us staged pretty well, though. So we weren't exactly stepping on each other or anything. They had us time staged. But yeah, made it back to the ship and got relaxed. And of course, the next day was a sea day because the day after we're going to Hong Kong, a place we've never been and so excited to go. But on that sea day, we kind of had a little bit of relaxing, of course, worked on a couple video things, but we also went to the chef's table.
Yes, this is always a fun experience to go to the chef's table. We're doing wine pairing with a Penfolds. Am I saying it right?
Penfolds wine from Australia. They brought a few cases of Penfolds on. In fact, the Penfolds representative, while we were on Australia, came and did a special tasting that you could do. And then they decided to change the wine paired with the normal wine on the chef's table to Penfolds wine. So we went ahead and booked that. We had some onboard credit to use. And so went and had a wonderful, wonderful chef's table with some of our closest friends here on the ship. And then after that, we really had to get some rest because we are touring Hong Kong as a local tomorrow.
We are. You're going to like this. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yeah, be sure to check that out.
Let's wrap up Subic Bay.
The Philippines in general, right?
Yes. Would you go back to Subic Bay?
I think Subic Bay, it's interesting. We went to Manila the day before, and Manila's a huge city. I mean, it's packed. It's got tons of stuff to see. Subic Bay, cruising into there was much more quiet and more rural. And like I said, we went 4-wheel driving. I think it would be a fun combination to come back to the Philippines and see more, right? We only had 2 days in the Philippines.
Right.
I think there's much, much more to see here.
Oh, I know there is, for sure.
Yeah. Right. And you?
Yes, I don't know that I'd specifically come back to Subic Bay, but definitely come back to the Philippines.
Yeah, and explore more. And if we're here, learn more about the Philippines. And I think, and the other thing that we didn't really mention when you're asking about coming back was the people were so friendly. Smiling and waving, and as we're driving in these Jeeps to the towns, the people in the shops are like laughing and waving at us,
taking our picture.
Yeah, it was. But no, everybody we met was really just welcoming and friendly. And thank you, the people of the Philippines, for putting up with our ultimate world cruise coming here because you were just wonderful, and we thank you, and we look forward to coming back again. So,
all right, friends. Well, we know you could be anywhere on YouTube, and you chose to be with us, and so we want to thank you and just wish you a beautiful day, and we'll see you very soon. Take care.
Bye-bye now.